What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Hot Corner Podcast. I'm your host, Brett Roshan, alongside my co-host, Keaton Adamacher.
What's up, everybody? We are glad to be back. And just a quick reminder, if you're liking what we've been putting out there, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and go ahead and follow us on Twitter if you can. That helps us know that you're liking it. That helps us grow as a page and as a podcast. And yeah.
Yeah, and it's getting real exciting. We are 17 days away from spring training. Me and Keaton wanted to let you guys know, for those who are or have been listening, that we will be starting to put out, especially as the season starts, a podcast every Tuesday night. Yep. So for those of you that, once again, are listening to these, we try to put them out every Tuesday already.
Yeah, if you've been keeping up, you noticed probably the pattern. It's usually Tuesdays or day or two, give or take. So we're going to try to stick to that all throughout the season. That's whether there's games or not, we're going to have a pod every Tuesday. We'll have probably a weekly recap of our team's scores and stats, but we'll have much more in-depth stuff as well, so stick with that and stay tuned for that. But yeah, what are we going to talk about today, since we're 17 days away?
Yeah.
Spring training. So, I mean, pretty soon pitchers and catchers are going to start, really working in their staffs and working in their stuff. And I don't know, it's coming. It's pretty surreal. I don't know. I love this time of the year. I don't know about you.
Yeah, it's insane, right? It's all of a sudden, you get that rush, that baseball starting. So as a kind of introduction, should I say, to the baseball season, or that it's so imminent, almost 2 weeks away, me and Keaton decided that a good topic for today's video, or should I say podcast, would be to project our lineups for both the Toronto Blue Jays and the Minnesota Twins, separate it versus right-handed pitching and versus left-handed pitching.
Yeah.
And we'd kind of go from there. So, Keaton, I'll have you start us off. We'll start with what you believe the Minnesota Twins lineup looks like. Or actually, we'll start off with what you would like the Minnesota Twins lineup to look like.
We'll do what we want, what we really want to see opening day, and then we'll do what we think our managers will do. How about that? Because we're not going to get it right, but I know a lot of people have an opinion on, these lineups and stuff. But yeah, I think Buxton should bat first. I think he should be leadoff. A lot of people want him fourth, third, second. All of those are fine. I have nothing against him batting anywhere else, but he has a 809 OPS leading off an inning last year, and 737 OPS leading off the game, which is really good. I mean, those are solid numbers, but I look at it more as a way of losing Luis Ariz. We need to replace that spark. If we don't have Luis, we don't have that spark at the beginning of the game, that first batter, that first name that the announcer names off. I want that to be, if it's not going to be Luis Ariz, I want it to be a name like Byron Buxton. I don't want Max Kepler anymore. I don't want Gallo anymore. So I just want that thump back in the leadoff spot. I used to think the strikeouts were bad, but I'd rather have the potential for a home run, double.
Yeah, and just to give a quick take, because obviously we're going to run by and give, so you can get the rest of your lineup out.
Yeah.
But I find that very interesting, just for the reason that I know Buxton is your best hitter. If not, you could say Correa is, I guess, as well.
Yeah.
So he's at very least the second best hitter. So my thing is I like that guy up when, he's got people in front of him, but you make a perfect point in terms of speed. And just kind of what he possesses in terms of the leadoff.
And when the lineup flips over, I mean, if anyone's on base, you got one of the best leadoff hitters in the game right there. Instead of second or third, where you have to wait another batter to get to him, he's already right there. And you see, like you said, like I said, an 809 OPS leading off an inning. So anytime he comes up around, I mean, you got your 2, 3, 4 hitters right after. It just feels like a recipe for success.
Sure.
And you get him more at bats, all that. And then that leads me to my next 2 or 3 spots, which I have Polo, Correa, and then Miranda. So I think with Buxton leading off, that allows these three hitters to maximize their RBI potential. You're going to have Polo, who's going to come up, who I think is going to have a bounce back season. I mean, he had like a so-called down season last year, was banged up a little bit. His average went down, but he still crushes the ball. He's still good from both sides. You got Buxton on base for him. I'd love that. Switch hitter. And then Carlos Correa. I mean, bat him third. There's no complaints. He's the best hitting shortstop in the game. In that division, I think he might even have a better year than he did last year. And then Miranda. That guy had an amazing rookie season. He had his ups and downs, but drives the ball to all fields, draws his walks. I think it's going to be just RBI galore in that middle of the lineup there. So, but other than that, I think coming after Jose, fifth, I would have Kirilloff at first base and then Gallo right after him. I think having these two lefties right in the middle against righties, they're just going to do damage. They're going to do tons of damage. Kirilloff is coming off wrist surgery. I think he'll be good to go. We'll see with spring training, though, that, anything can happen. So we'll see with that. And then Gallo, I think they're taking a flyer on Gallo, and he's a good spot to have in the sixth spot. So my outfield, I haven't gotten to Kepler yet. I'd have Vasquez at seventh, and then Kepler at eighth. And then I'd have Gordon at the end as DH. So, yeah, that's my lineup against righties. Gordon just had a breakout year, and I think they'll use the DH to, platoon and have a bunch of guys get rest. When Buxton needs the DH, they have Taylor on the bench. They even have Celestino if an emergency happens. That's my lineup against righties. So that's Buxton, Polo, Correa, Miranda, Kirilloff, Gallo, and then Vasquez, Kepler, and Gordon. You look at a bench then, too. That's Taylor, Farmer, Jeffers, and I believe Larnick, who some people would rather have at DH than Gordon. That's fine. They're interchangeable. Gordon just had the better year last year, but some people think Larnick is a better bat. So we'll see. We'll see what kind of springs they have. But, yeah. What about you for a right-handed lineup?
For sure, yeah.
Or against a right-handed pitcher for the Jays.
Right, yeah.
And I know you're going to start off with George Springer.
Oh, yeah.
Because he is identical, in my opinion, to... Not identical, but having him as your leadoff hitter is that spark that I was talking about.
Yeah, George Springer, and this is no bias towards George Springer, he is the best to do it in the game. Definitely currently. He is a top 3 in terms of leadoff home runs, so I want to talk about adding a spark to the game. George Springer belongs there no matter what. Never move him out of that place. Then I have him obviously as my leadoff guy. My 2 guy I have for what I would like to see is our new guy, our new acquisition via trade, lefty bat Dalton Varsho. Dalton Varsho did some leading off last year for Arizona, and the reason I like it that way, or like him in the 2-hole, should I say, is because I like his he's not slow, he's a fast guy, he's very athletic. I like the aspect of having Springer than him in terms of the righty-lefty. Mm-hmm. And also on top of that, I think, obviously Springer has the leadoff spot locked down, so if you put in he's kind of like a second leadoff guy, if that makes sense.
Wait till you see these stats, by the way, for his leadoff. But go ahead. No, for Springer.
Oh, I know. They're unbelievable.
It's unreal. I'm sorry to cut you off, but this is unreal. So Springer in his career has a 943 OPS starting the game.
Yeah, he's crazy.
Just starting the game. He has 52 home runs. Mm-hmm. And then leading off an inning, so just any inning at all, he has a 924 OPS. Just equally as amazing.
He's the best.
And he's got 96 home runs leading off an inning. So you can already say by his age, how old is he? 29?
He's 33.
Oh, wow. I overshot that. I can't believe that. He's definitely solidified himself as the best leadoff hitter ever.
He's up there. I would say Ricky Henderson's probably the best ever.
I mean, damage-wise, though, I don't think
Springer,
Henderson had...
Yeah, right.
Henderson did not have this damage. Henderson was the prototypical best leadoff hitter.
Well, the reason I say that,
he hit bombs. He hit bombs, too.
He has the most bombs. Ricky Henderson.
Really?
He has the most leadoff bombs, yep. He's got the most leadoff bombs. It's really not close either.
I could have swore Springer beat that.
Springer's, I think, in second now. Like right behind him, second or third, one or the other.
Maybe I'm thinking playoffs.
No, Springer is right there. But Ricky Anderson had so many that it was just like, it's pretty much unbeatable in terms of leadoff homers.
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah, he's the best leadoff hitter ever. I was just going off of hitting, but you're right. Yeah, no, you're right. He's got the power numbers.
Yeah, for sure. I would know because every time Springer hits a leadoff home run, it's like...
He's
boom, they put that stat up on the board of how close he is to Henderson. Mm-hmm. It's really not close, and it's kind of great. But Springer's in his own company of his own. But yeah, so anyways, going back to our lineups, or my lineup, should I say? Springer has to lead off. He's the best leadoff hitter in the game. He's the best modern day leadoff hitter of all time.
Yeah, say that. Put it that way. Yeah.
Varsho again follows him up because I like the righty-lefty combo, as well as kind of making Varsho the second leadoff guy. And then obviously in the 3-hole, that big 3 spot, I have Vladdy. Vladdy, and then behind him is going to be Bo. Those are going to be the two guys that carry the team in terms of our driving in runs and all that kind of stuff. So they have to be, 3 and 4. And then in the 5-hole,
but they don't necessarily struggle against righties either. So you don't have any problem.
Vlad and Bo don't struggle in general, which is pretty. They're the center of that lineup, right? So you need them in that 3 and 4 hole.
Yeah.
And then I have in the 5-hole Brandon Belt. So I move actually Kirk down. Kirk was, I think he's projected by Steamer to be 5th.
Probably.
4th or 5th, but I like the idea of, getting another lefty bat in there.
Yeah.
And I do really believe that Brandon Belt, on top of that, can be that same guy from 2020 and 2021 and really...
I already picked him as my bounce back player of the year.
Yeah, and really rake for us. And then,
And he doesn't have to be a complete MVP level like he was a few years ago. He doesn't have to be anything close to that to be a bounce back and be a really impactful player.
Oh, for sure.
He's got the potential. I really see it coming with those dimensions, and just
when you really think about it, he's
gonna get the at bats.
And once we really go through the rest of this lineup, you'll see the protection he has. No offense to San Francisco or their fans, but I don't feel like he had much protection in that lineup, specifically towards the end, especially when he did have that 2020, 2021 season.
Mm-hmm.
But I think with that protection, and again, going from lefty to another lefty in 2 other spots is a big thing for the Blue Jays.
Yeah.
That was our big issue, right? We were all right-handed. So I like Brandon Belt there in the 5-hole. And then I move on to Alejandro Kirk in the 6-hole, and then Chapman behind him in the 7-hole. And I was actually speaking with you on this earlier. The crazy thing for me with Chapman,
we almost forgot him.
We almost forgot him, one. And then also on top of that is to think, I know he's obviously, I wouldn't say he's not the same player, but he's definitely, I know Oakland maybe had less of a lineup to put him in, but to think that he was hitting third for a playoff Oakland Athletics team is pretty crazy.
Yeah.
To drop him to 7, right? And another guy.
It's a safe 7. I mean, that's a.
Right. And another guy that gives me that same vibe, which is my 8 guy, is Whit Merrifield, who's hit at the top of the order for years in Kansas City when he was there.
Could play him anywhere.
You play him anywhere, and you could put him in the lineup anywhere.
Anyone goes down, Merrifield can literally play their position, most likely.
And he could, if
it's not on the mound or behind the plate.
Say George Springer goes down or something, I want Whit Merrifield probably leading off. Yeah. I like the speed. I like just his experience.
The contactability. I saw this stat, actually. I think... don't quote me exactly, but I was watching MLB Network. He, since 2017, has the most hits in the AL.
Oh, guaranteed.
It's something like the most.
I think that's definitely a thing.
Yeah, I mean, he sprays the ball everywhere. It's just a perfect utility guy to have.
Oh, for sure.
And then what do you got rounding out your lineup?
Yeah, so rounding out our lineup, we have going to be the worst hitter in the lineup, but going to be the guy who, he's another left-handed bat. He's got that speed. He's got that defense. So I like him as kind of a second leadoff guy. It's going to be Kevin Kiermaier, rounding out the lineup in the 9 spot. So
I love that.
Yeah, and what's really interesting about this lineup, for those of you Jays fans that are listening, again, we have those 3 lefties that we did not have before. So, yeah, it's massive in that sense.
Yeah.
And then also, just before I let you dive into yours, for those of you wondering where Jansen's at, Kirk and Jansen are kind of in a platoon role, so they'll switch off.
So you got Springer, Varsho, Guerrero, Bichette, Belt, Kirk, Chapman, Merrifield, and Kiermaier against righties. That's a beautiful opening day lineup for me. So, and also I just looked it up for the record. Henderson definitely best homers for sure.
Oh yeah, it's like not close.
But OPS, Springer blows him out the water.
Oh, I bet. Yeah.
So I look at that and I think of what can happen when Springer's up at the plate. Like with Henderson, it was just a little more predictable.
Right.
I feel like maybe not. I mean, I'm probably not looking at it right. I just love Springer. I just think when he stands up to lead off an inning, it's scary. So
it's very scary.
And that OPS 940. I mean,
that's a 3-4 hitter hitting first. Yeah. That's the best way to put it.
Yeah. So we're gonna do real quick left-handed pitching because our lineups are definitely gonna look different against lefties. Last year the Twins really struggled against lefties for some reason. We've been accustomed to good right-handed hitting over the last few years with Nelson Cruz and even guys like Crone and Scope and a few other guys. And we haven't seen that the last few years, aside from some injuries. So starting off against left-handed pitching, I'd have Buxton again in center field, and then Correa, and I would move Miranda to the 3rd spot. All 3 of these guys crushed lefties, just absolutely demolished them. So I think that's a good place to start. But 4, 5, and 6 is where it actually gets really interesting for me. I'm taking out Kirilloff. I'm taking out Kepler down in the lineup, and I'm putting in Polo, Farmer, and Jonathan Taylor. Or Michael A. Taylor.
Yeah.
So Polo, I just want batting 4th. Good switch hitter, even though he doesn't hit very well against lefties. I like him in the middle of the lineup as that switch veteran bat. I trust him in any situation to either get on base or to do what's right in that situation. And then right after, I have Kyle Farmer actually batting 5th. Because believe it or not, last year he had a 948 OPS against lefties. And he has an 837 OPS versus lefties in his career. So he just absolutely demolishes lefties. It's kind of like what we've seen with Garlick. So I'm slotting him in the 5th. The Twins clearly got him to be that lefty masher. And then against lefties, I'm giving Kepler a break, and I'm sliding Gallo over to right, and I'm moving Taylor to left. And I know this last half of this lineup doesn't look so hot with Farmer, Taylor, and then I have Gallo following Taylor. But I still think the defense is worth it. The fact that they're replacing defense and some speed. And then at the end, I have Jeffers and Larnach. Jeffers just crushes lefties. I think you can move him actually a few up or down, no matter what you want. And then Larnach at DH at the bottom. Again, I'm putting the DH at the ends of my lineups because the Twins will use it so interchangeably. I really don't see them having a specific set DH.
They don't have a signed. Yeah, they don't have a signed DH.
We don't have Nelson, so they're really going to utilize it a lot. We're going to see Buxton at DH, meaning Taylor could be in center. You could even see Gallo in center. Gallo has played a good center.
Yeah, they're going to use that DH spot kind of
Kirilloff,
like the Blue Jays have in the past, and I'm sure they have in the past as an off day.
Yeah.
Or to get someone off their feet in terms of the field. So.
What do you got for left-handed pitchers?
Yeah, for sure. So
Blue Jays against left-handed pitchers.
Yeah. So my left-handed, or my lineup against left-handed pitching, again, as we just touched on, got to lead off with Springer. I moved Bo up to 2nd because I dropped Varsho down a little bit further. Because
he struggles against lefties.
He struggles against lefties a lot.
Yeah.
And then we have obviously Vlad stays third. I move Kirk up. I think Kirk mashes I don't think he does mash lefties. So he's my 4 guy.
He's my favorite player on the Blue Jays, by the way. I can't wait to see him bat.
I know, I can't wait to see what he does. Danny Jansen, that's a guy who I can't wait to see. I think he's got a lot to prove. I think he's going to be awesome.
And a lot of people would say to you, Danny Jansen batting 5th in any lineup? Well, that just shows how much better Jansen has improved. I think.
If he were to stayed healthy last year, he was on the trajectory to hit 30, 35 homers, which a lot of people don't understand.
And he's a great defender.
And he had the highest OPS on the team. But that obviously he was injured.
The sample size,
so his sample size sure was smaller, but
still
in a lineup like that to have the highest OPS, he showed elite numbers. He really was elite with the bat last year.
And I'm sure he was starting to get a good chemistry with the staff too.
Yeah, he's been our starting catcher well before Kirk even came up, so he's the big morale guy in terms of catching with our pitching staff. So gotta have him in there for against lefties.
So then 7th you have.
So then 7th I have Dalton Varsho.
Yeah.
I drop him.
No, that would be 6th, right?
Yeah, I'm so sorry. Yeah, 6th I have Dalton Varsho.
Yeah.
Yeah, 6th I apologize. 6th I have Dalton Varsho, and then 7th after him I have Matt Chapman, and then 8th I have Whit Merrifield. You can kind of again interchange that Chapman and Varsho. Again, I just want to introduce the lefty bat. And then 9th I have once again Kevin Kiermaier.
Yeah.
Because he's going to be out in that field, and you just can't sit him. And again, he's batting 9th anyways.
Yeah.
We don't need him really ripping much. So.
No. I really like that. Lineup against lefties. You're gonna have a mash fest with Jansen, Kirk, and Guerrero. Oh my God.
For sure.
Lefties are gonna be scared coming against Toronto. That's for sure. I can't say the same for the Twins. They had a pretty rough year against lefties, so I'm hoping that they can come back.
Righties
not so
believe it or
much.
not. Sorry, to cut you off.
You're fine.
Believe it or not, the Toronto Blue Jays did too.
Really?
They did not hit lefties that well, no.
Interesting.
Which is really interesting because they were literally all right-handed. It was a very interesting aspect.
And you went out and got a few left-handed bats.
I think what happened was, my theory at least, is that they, teams threw out righties so much against them for the reason that they were all right-handed. And it kind of got to a point of where when a lefty came in, they were seeing the ball completely differently. And they just didn't know how to handle it. And it actually worked against them to have all righties, which is weird. It's like reverse psychology.
And actually, I forgot to mention it. The fact that you mentioned that, I think I've seen that with the Twins lately, and I think some Twins fans can agree, is that Rocco likes to do the lineup righty, lefty, righty, lefty, righty, lefty. And I think he does that for the same thing you just mentioned, is that if they're too right-handed or too left-handed, the vision, the balance of the lineup can get a little one-sided for when that reliever comes in, and the lineup almost doesn't. I don't know. Help me out here. The lineup doesn't have that same view of the pitcher.
Right. Well, it's a different arm angle. It's a different side that they're looking at, and it screws them over completely. So,
you got to have more balance throughout the lineup. I think you're going to see that a lot because you guys got a few left-handed bats. So.
Yeah. We will. Yeah. Now we got those 3-4 left-handed bats. If you count Cabin, we can slide him in there at some point. He's a bench bat, but
Espinal on the bench.
Yeah,
that should be all right.
Yeah, right. But I mean, in a way of where Cabin, we can have 4 lefties in the lineup, and hopefully, before spring training, we can even add another one. So,
yeah, there's still time. There is
still time.
So, that's all we got for you guys tonight. If you got any ideas on your lineups, how you would construct those platoon situations, and then hit us up on Twitter. But if you got any ideas for the show, any questions, definitely hit us up, and we'll get back to you.
All right.
All right, cool. See ya.